Alright, I've been meaning to do this video for a little while, but I haven't got a chance to do it yet. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This Scrip'chur. This is the book I was telling y'all about in the post, that has what actually happened to YUNaH, who what English calls Jonah. You know, everybody pretty much familiar with the story of Jonah and the whale. Well, his sham is YUNaH. And it's only like 4 chapters in the, books that they give in Scripture. It would be YUNaH, not YONaH. There it is in the Youth, what they call proto or pictograph. You got your Yah, Nun, and Ha, that's YUNaH. There it is in the Paleo. There it is in the modern Babylonian script, Hebrew script. And there it is in the pagan English. And I highlighted a few Devarim there. And I wrote down what the actual Devarim really is, or the Shemuth or Sham of it. But in the 4 chapters of this, you can read it on your own. I'm not feeling well at all this Scrip'chur. I'm still dealing with kidney stones, or we do a more in-depth study, but you can read this on your own. But what happens is very vague, just like a lot of books in the scriptures that they give out of the, books in what they call the Bible. They don't give you all the books. There's just numerous that have been removed for a reason, because they don't want you to know the whole Amath, the whole truth. But it ends here with YUNaH and Yahweh having a conversation. But right here, it ends with Yahweh spoke, you felt sorry for the plant, for that you have not labored nor made it grow, that came up in Alayla, perished in Alayla. Should I not pardon Nineveh, that great city, in that are more than 120,000 beings who have not known their right hand from their left, much cattle. And then that's where it ends. I mean, there's no more in this, and I've always been puzzled by that, and it's been a great search and a great mystery, really, to me, to find out what in the world happened, or what in the ball, I'm sorry, happened to YUNaH. I mean, YUNaH went through quite a bit, and you know his story. He didn't want to go and warn the folks there in Nineveh, but there had to be more. And the only book that I could find, and I didn't know this was in here, I needed some more. I needed more than what I had. I've got several books, or the removed books, that are written in, or they have been restored, with the Shemuth of Yahweh, Yahusha, and then all the Nabuim, the folks, with their correct Sham or Shemuth in it. But this was all I could get to get more of the removed books. And of course it's written in the pagan English. But if you study the Albrith, Lashon, the Albrith tongue, you'll know when you get to certain Devarim here, what not to speak and what to take out that's written in here and replace, or to restore rather, back with its true Sham, Name, or Shemuth, Names, or title, or the Sham of the land, or everything. But anyway, this is the book that I got. It is the complete 100 book, what they call Apocrypha. It would actually be Matmonim. And it's got a lot of books in it. It is very thick. It was about 30 bucks. But this is where I found what happened to YUNaH. And I've done and got the page marked here. I opened it up, and it's titled The Lives of the Prophets. And that would actually be Hayim, Shalha, and Nabiim. and the Lives of the Prophets is the pagan English relation of that. But up here it gives you Lives of the Prophets is a record of the lives or deaths of significant Old Testament, which would be the Tanakh or the Tanukh era Nabiim prophets. At least some of the material is very ancient, from the 1st century AD or earlier. The Apostle Paul, it would be Shaul, may have been familiar with some of these accounts as reflected in the Pauline epistles. You know, this is all pagan English, Devarim. But anyway, you've got a lot of the Nabiim, what happened to them. And there was a lot of bad stuff that happened to most of these folks. But whenever I opened it up and I saw Jonah, who we now know is YUNaH, I was quite blown away. Therefore, I'm going to go over this with you, and we're going to look. All right, YUNaH. He was from the district of Kariath Maun, near the nation city of Azotus on the sea. After he had been cast on shore by the well, YUNaH had made his journey to Nineveh. Okay, they have it as Nineveh or Nineveh, you know, or Nineveh, whatever, however it's written in whatever scriptures you have. But in the Albrith, it is Nineveh. Nineveh. It's not Nineveh or Nineveh, it's Nineveh. All right. On his return, he did not stay in his own land. On his return, now listen, after he had been cast on shore by the well and had made his journey to Nineveh, okay, on his return, he did not stay in his own land, but took his Amma, who was settled in Tara, a country of foreign Amim. For he spoke in this way, I will take away my reproach, that I nabi falsely against the great city Nineveh. Okay, now look at this. Eliyahu, what pagan English calls Elijah, it's Eliyahu. Eliyahu was at that time rebuking the house of Ahab, who having called a famine on the land, he fled. Coming to the region of Tyre, he found the widow, her ban, for his own being, could not lodge with the uncircumcised. He brought her a Baruch. When her child died, Yahweh, not God, Yahweh raised him from the dead through Eliyahu, for he wished to show him that it is not possible to flee from Yahweh. After the famine was over, YUNaH came into the land of... Oh, hang on. All right, sorry about that. Anyway, YUNaH came into the land of Yehudah, what they call Judea. It's called Yehudah. Okay, it's not Judea. YUNaH came into the land of Yehudah. On the way there, his Amma died, who he buried her beside the oak of Debarah. Thereafter, having placed in the land of, here's another Debar, Shair, not Seir, it's Shair. He died there. YUNaH was buried in the tomb of the Kanuzi, not Kenazite, it's Kanuzi. Okay, the first who became a Shaphat in the Yumim when there was nothing. He gave a sign to Jerusalem and to all the land. When they should see a stone crying aloud in distress, the end would be at hand. Or when they should see all the Goyim, or nations, gathered in Jerusalem, the city would be razed to its foundations. Now we know that YUNaH had left Nineveh, and he had gathered his alma and he had took her. And then he had moved on. All right. All right, let's read through this all together now. YUNaH, he was from the district of Kariath Ma'un near the nation city of Zatus on the sea. After he had been cast on shore by the whale and had made his journey to Nineveh, on his return he did not stay in his own land, but took his Alma, who was placed in Tyre, a country of foreign Amim. For he spoke, in this way I will take away my reproach, that I now be falsely against the great city Nineveh. Eliyahu was at that time rebuking the house of Ahab, and having called a famine on the land, he fled. Coming to the region of Tara, he found the widow her band, for his being could not lodge with the uncircumcised. He brought her a Baruch, when her child died. Yahuwah raised him from the dead through Eliyahu, for he wished to show him that it is not possible to flee from Yahuwah. After the famine was over, YUNaH came into the land of Yehudah. Okay, on the way there, his Alma died. He buried her beside the oak of Debarah. Thereafter, having placed in the land of Shair, he died there and was buried in the tomb of the Kenuzi, the first who became Shaphat in the Yumim when there was no Malak. Okay? He gave a sign to Jerusalem and to all the land. When they should see a stone crying aloud in distress, the end would be at hand. And when they should see all the Goyim gathered in Jerusalem, the city would be raised to its foundations. And that's what we have on YUNaH. It doesn't sound like he died a horrific death like most of the Nabiim, but he went on and just he was. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with y'all. If there's any of y'all that are curious of what happened to him, I mean, there has to be a handful at least. It brought me very much shalom to actually see what happened to YUNaH. There are three Nabi'im that I have always just felt really a strong connection to. YUNaH is definitely a cod of them. But yeah, it brings me, it's just a great barakah, that Yahweh showed me this, and now I can share what I have found with those of y'all that have been on the same search or the same Zod, the journey, the path, because we do want to know what happened. We have that urgency to figure out there's got to be more, and that's why with the removed books, whatever form you can get them in, if you can definitely get them in with the restored Shamuth or the restored Sham, the NAME or any AMESs, get it. And just Shamar, guard your eyes with all the pagan Debarium. Because these are not their real Shamuth. It's not that right there. It's Yashayahu. It's not that right there. It's Yaramayahu. It's not that right there. It's Yakaz Ka'al. It's Daniel, and you just have to study. You have to study the language. You have to study the true language, not the modern Babylonian Hebrew script. But you have to get to the beginning. And YUNaH, what a beautiful sham, YUNaH, and that has a meaning to it. And if you would like to know the meanings to all their shamuth, do that for your own being. Study that on your own. Learn what their sham actually means. Because it has a great connection to our Barah Yahuwah. Shalom, 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 Mashpaka. Let's keep Lanu lifted up to Yahweh. We go through these afflictions in our bodies that are horrific at times. Kidney stones are no joke. They cause extreme back spasms. that are, you just, they bring tears to your eyes, and you just break out in complete deep hurt. And there's other afflictions that our bodies go through with other mashpaka. But let's keep YUNaH lifted up in Palal. And remember that these Nabi'im, they were not without afflictions, okay? If you're a Yalad, a child of Yahweh, you will have afflictions, whether it's in your physical or whether it's in your Rook walk, or both. A lot of times it's both. But I pull out that this brought y'all some closure to YUNaH. And remember that you cannot hide from Yahweh, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Let's be Kadash in our walk, in our talk. Yada Yahuwah. Shalom, shalom, Mashpaka. Shalom. Rumama Yahuwah Yashra'al. Yada Yahuwah.